All right, so we'll get started here. So this is our quick little agenda. The first thing we'll be talking about is kind of our program setup with COVID, our COVID protocols, the PFD requirements for our members and program participants, which is going to be new for this year, our website, and then the big thing, if anyone has any questions that they want to let us know about, feel free. So we have 4 kind of categories of membership. We have the full and dry land, which we'll explain more about, learn to row, summer camps, and private lessons for people as well. So membership for this year, there's going to be 3 options, and this is mostly for our returning rowers who are fairly competent in smaller boats. We've got the full membership, so that's going to be $600. So that's going to give you access to on-water rowing when we do that, dry land training in the winter months, which includes things like rowing on the ergs and in our indoor tank. And like this winter right now is erging outside. We do what we can. The dry land membership is just going to be access to the indoor rowing and the virtual training. And our youth membership is the same as the full membership, but just for youth ages 10 to 17. Also, Walter or Rachel, feel free to jump in if I miss anything, okay? All right, learn to row. So we have some new people here in this video chat, which is great. So with our learn to row, it's going to be $260 for a session. I'm just going to pop on do not disturb here. Pardon me, everyone. All right.
I should probably do that with my phone too, but I'll just turn it off.
There we go. Okay, so $260 for a session. You're going to get 6 2-hour sessions. The classes are going to be about 4 to 6 students. 100% of your registration fee is going to go towards your membership if you decide to upgrade after you complete the course. Learn to row, which is different for some of you who have maybe seen a learn to row class before or taken one in the past, is that it's mostly going to be in single sculls. We do have the means to equip our boats with some pontoons to make them a little more extra stable. And we have some things called tubs, which are really quite stable singles. So you don't have the a big chance to flip. All of the dates for Learn to Row are on our website, which we can show you guys a link to afterwards. On there as well, there's instructions on how to register, which is a great tool to have. Youth Learn to Row. So similar to the adult Learn to Row, dates are still being finalized for our on-water Youth Learn to Row. On the website, we do have an indoor Youth Learn to Row that's starting in April. It'll also be capped at 4 students. It'll be about 1.5 hours with a focus on the rowing machines and in our indoor tank. And that'll kind of help some people who are interested in learning to row get a jump start before going onto the water.
Yeah, we're already registered 2 people on that.
Awesome. All right. Summer camps. So summer camps are going to be running from July and August. Again, the dates are on the website. That's going to be for youth ages 10 to 17. It's going to be $300 per week, and $100 will be applied to the membership. So say you have a child that does 3 weeks of summer camp, that would be $900, but $300 of that would go towards a membership. So that's how that would work. And we're maxing it out at 10 youth per session. And the sessions are going to be broken down into things like rowing, nature walks. So we're going to get a little bit more non-rowing related activities in there as well, just to keep the kids busy. They'll be running throughout the day about 9 to 3. And all those details are on the website as well. Those as well, I should mention, will also be primarily in single sculls. Private lessons. So if anyone is interested in picking up rowing and they don't necessarily have the schedule or time to do a Learn to Row course or a summer camp, there is an option to do a private lesson. So For non-members, there's a minimum purchase of 3. It's $100 for non-members, $80 for members, and $60 for any additional person you'd like to add, up to a maximum of 4 people. The lessons are going to be about 90 minutes, 60 minutes on the water. Again, due to COVID, it'll mostly be in singles. If you do decide to register for a private lesson, once you do that, our membership director is going to get you in touch with a coach. Likely that will be Walter here. And you and Walter are going to be able to organize a time to get together and do a private lesson, which is, I think, quite valuable because you get Walter all to yourself. So new for 2021 and 22 is we have a new PFD policy in place. This is for both members and program participants. What we're gonna be requiring people is everyone in a rowing shell is gonna have to carry a PFD with them. Transport Canada regulations state that with a rowing shell, if it's accompanied by a safety boat, it doesn't have to carry a PFD. And all of our safety boats are equipped with PFDs and safety equipment for all of our programs, but we're adding in this new policy just as another layer of safety to keep everyone safe on the water. So we do have PFDs for our members. They can either rent them for the season at $50. If they would like, they can also purchase their own through us at $115, and they roughly retail for about $150. So you're saving a little bit of money there. And we're able to do that just because we've bought a big number from our provider, and we're able to offer a bit of a discount on that. And for anyone who's taking a learn to row or a summer camp, we're just going to be providing them the PFD for the duration of that program, so they don't have to buy or rent or anything like that.
And one of the reasons for requiring people to have their own PFD is that quite often you can, if you've been a member of a rowing club for a while, you can row well enough to get out of the sight of the coach boat, because we might be hanging around with some people who are a little slower or need some extra coaching. And if you get out of sight, we don't know if you've flipped, so or gotten in any other form of trouble. So if you have your own PFD with you, you can pull on the ripcord, pop it open, and put it on if you need it. Or if you've got the skills, you can hop back into your boat and carry on.
Definitely. All right, moving on. So COVID protocols. As everyone knows, COVID's kind of changed the way every organization operates within the last year. So that's where we have a lot of protocols in place to keep our members safe. Most of our programs are rowing in single sculls just to keep up with physical distancing. Depending on the COVID restrictions, so last year at some point we had things like double bubbles and cohorts. So when Alberta Health allowed it, you could row with someone outside of your household. Right now that's been scaled back again, so we're just into single sculls. If you're living in a household with someone, you could row a double with them. That would be for our members who do know how to row the smaller boats. And once someone's taken a learn to row and they've kind of gotten a head start on a single, then we can start looking at that as well for them if they decide to join up. We have a kit that we need our rowers to kind of bring to every session, which includes a mask, bag, boat cleaning equipment, and about 2 liters of potable water. The boat cleaning equipment is so after a session, we can clean our boats, disinfect them so they're ready to go for the next person. We need people to bring water because we unfortunately don't have access to potable water at the boathouse. All of our things like instructions on how to clean, our COVID protocols, those are all on the website on its own page at edmontonrowing.ca / COVID-19. So anything you are interested in knowing about that, you can take a look there. And some important things that we're having our rowers do is sign up, use a logbook. So we have records of everyone who's been to practice, who's been using what equipment, and all of that good stuff.
And that's primarily for contact tracing if we do get somebody who comes down with COVID.
Mhm. And our logbook too, prior to COVID-19, rowing clubs generally do use a logbook, and that's just to make sure we know where people are on the river, if they've come back in and everything like that. So it's just another layer of tracing, like Walter said, with COVID.
Yeah, typically a logbook was used in the past strictly to make sure that, people would check in and off the water, and off on the water and off the water. Um, And, if somebody didn't check off the water, then we'd wonder if their boat was there. And if the boat was on the wreck, we'd relax. But if the boat wasn't on the wreck, we'd sort of wonder and have to go look for them.
Mhm. Yeah.
Now that's also included in the online logbook, but the other thing is for contact tracing. And we're doing it online so that we don't have people handling the pen and the paper and possibly picking up more microbiome than they want.
Mhm. Yeah, so all those can be found on the website with masks. Everyone does need to wear a mask when we're outside on the grounds of the rowing club. So when we're getting coach boats set up, when we're getting ready to go, once you're in your boat on the water, that's when you can take your mask off. And if anyone has any questions about that too, at the end, we can go over them for sure. So our website, so we're updating our website almost daily to make sure it's a valuable tool for our members and program participants. So if you do ever have any questions, that's a good place to look first. We do have a members portal as well, which everyone can have access to right now, and it's got a list of things like safety resources, club policies. So yeah, the website's a really great resource to go to. And that's the end of that quick little tidbit there. So again, website links there if anyone needs them. Club manager at edmontonrowing.ca is my email address. So if anyone does have any questions about the season, about Learn to Row summer camps, you can direct them to me. And if I can't answer them, I'll know who to send them over to so you can get the answers that you need. And if anyone does have any questions, we would love to answer them.
Fire away, unmute yourself and fire away.
Yeah, I have a question.
Awesome.
Who can be on the water at a time? I know last year you guys had, the club had, like, I think it was like 3 or 4 people could be in the boathouse at a time. I'm not sure what the number was, so I'm curious about that.
I don't think last year we had anything, not that I can recall. It was mostly just making sure people were distanced when they were in the boathouse. We did have a cap at the number of people per session. So
what's that, Jess?
Oh, okay, yeah. So Lynn, what we had last year was for our members, we had an experienced group, and then we had like a more of a developmental group. So the experienced, we were able to have more members. I think we had 18 at one point as a maximum. I don't think we ever had 18 people come at once. But the developmental session, we kept it at 6. And that was just because that was more people newer to singles and newer to smaller boats. And since we have more smaller boats on the water, we just have to make sure the coaches are able to keep everyone in together. And
yeah, there's a little more potential need for rescue in case someone tips and can't get back in.
That makes sense. So last year there were sign-up sheets for each session. Is that the same kind of thing? Okay.
yes.
Is there any kind of off-program rowing that might happen?
Say that again, sorry.
Off-program rowing. I know at one point last year, eventually we got around to that.
Yeah, so
you were offering, you could row off program?
Yeah, so you're saying just kind of like outside of practice times? Like if you wanted to go to the boathouse and row a single?
Right.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, or maybe if we get to it, you know, a double with somebody on, because there are more boats available if you're rowing off program.
Yeah, so last year the board just approved a revamped version of the rowing boats outside of regular program times policy. So if you go onto the website, Lynn, under the members portal, you can actually bring up that policy.
Okay.
And that basically just states, very similar to what you would have been used to in the past, is you'd have to be experienced, carry a PFD, boathouse would have to be open. You'd have to use the logbook, everything that you would be kind of used to with that.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. Does that answer your question?
It does, thanks.
And we are hiring summer staff, so the boathouse will be open more times than just during regular program times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it should be open during the day.
Jess, can you do me a favor? This is Raul. Can you put again the addresses in case of somebody is interested in participating in Learn to Row and so on? You have the different emails. Can you put it back again so I can?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Copy it and.
Yeah, I can just I'll share my screen again there, Raul. There we go. You can write that down there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Does
Yeah, I
anyone else
wanted to say hi, Raul. It's good to see you're here.
Yeah, thank you very much for the welcoming.
There you go. Sarab, I saw you came off of mute there. Do you have a question?
I did, Jess. Yeah. So just my question was that I guess there's two different times for the Learn to Row. There's kind of a 4 to 6 time and a 6 to 8:30 time, and we can choose either or. Is that kind of the idea?
Yeah, for sure. If you wanted to be super keen and do both, go for it. But yeah, and so those are all up on the website, and registering can kind of be tricky sometimes, so there are some instructions on there. If you have any questions about registering, you can always get in touch with our membership director, Maywa, who is here. She wants to smile at us. There she is.
Can I just clarify on that? If you sign up for the early Learn to Row, that's the class you're in. And if you sign up for the late Learn to Row, that's the class you're in.
Okay.
You can pick either. But because if they're full, you can't really swap back and forth because there's only a set number of openings per spot per course.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this might be a silly question, but assuming that if the class is starting at 6 p.m., would I need to get there like half an hour early? What's sort of the lead time that we need to get there to get ready?
With Learn, go for it.
Give it a few minutes, like 10 minutes early is probably plenty.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I'd say with Learn to Row, there isn't the expectation that people are there super early. Sometimes with if you're training competitively, Walter would want you there a little bit sooner, but Learn to Row, we're not gonna start things before the start time of the session.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Warm up and stretching and things like that for competitive people. But.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess my final question really was that if I do register for the Learn to Row and I can apply towards the membership, with the membership, does the membership sort of work out or row regularly, or is it just for whoever wants to show up? Is there like a formal program around training to row, I guess?
Do you want to answer that one, Walter?
I can kick in a little. We're going to have regular training times. I'm not sure. I've got a draft schedule, and I'm not sure if I can share it because I'll see if I can share my screen and show you what we've got as a draft. It's still in sort of preparation.
Walter's doing that. Basically, what we'll do is we'll have a sign-up sheet that you can see every week, and Walter will have a set number of sessions, and you can sign up for as many or as little sessions as you want. In a normal year, we have different programs. We'll have a juniors program, a master's program, a competitive program. But this year, as well as last year, we've kind of broken it down into everyone's together, but we're splitting it into an experience session and more of a developmental session. So people aren't getting left behind in the singles and everything, and making sure people are getting the coaching they need.
come on, get over here.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
So here, we'll bring this back in. And I have to shrink this down a little bit because there. So this is sort of draft, but we're going to have Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Oh, come on. I hate this. We'll have morning and evening, we'll have coaches on the water. And some of the training will be competitive. Some of the training will be less competitive, as in working on technique and going out for a workout. If you're a beginner, it's going to be more aimed at developing technique and learning the skills of not flipping your boat, for example, and being able to row in a straight line and all that sort of thing. But we'll also have sessions of competitive rowing training, and if you're progressing very well, we might bump you up into a more competitive, shall we say, or more less developmental group. This is a little unusual, again, because of the COVID stuff. We're not having separate groups really for high performance training. And oops, we have another person in the waiting room. But you can join in any of the sessions that are available to you for your level of rowing. So for example, you can see on the bottom here, there's a Monday evening, say there's 3 coaches, 3 groups, the juniors, recreational, and competitive training. And that's people who want to go out. The juniors will be out for a workout. The competitive people will be out for a workout, and recreational people will be out for a workout. If you've just finished Learn to Row, it's probably a good idea to join the recreational, because it's mainly focused on working on technique and things like that. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you, Walter.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any other questions?
We just had somebody join.
I have 2 questions,
Go, Sophie.
and they're really not significant. I just saw on the spreadsheet, it says that time trials are to the dock. Does that mean we're cutting off the last 400
Oh,
meters?
no, that's only the first couple of weeks.
Okay, shoot. Okay. Second, equally kind of meaningless. If we have to have PFDs in each boat, does that mean we don't have to carry down a bag of PFDs?
So for this year, we're keeping the safety boats the same. And that's just to make sure we're covered on all fronts. As years go by, that may change. If we do have PFDs in every single rowing shell and every person has one, we don't technically need PFDs in the safety boat. But I think it's best just to cover all of our bases, especially this year when when this policy is new. So it's going to take some time to kind of get people to be getting with it all the time, if that makes sense. You're welcome. For those who are new to what Sophie was talking about with the time trials is how every Saturday Walter will run a time trial, and anyone can kind of show up and row in a boat and race themselves and see how fast they can go and have fun. And it can be as competitive or not as competitive as you want it to be.
Yeah, what we do is we hope that you're interested in doing the time trials so you can check on your improvement in your skill level and your fitness and all that. It's not really used to compare anybody with anybody else. Of course, we do keep track of the time, but you get to see if you're getting faster. And if you're a beginner and you do your first time trial and it takes you 12 minutes to do the distance we're doing the time trial, and then 2 weeks later you do it and it takes you 10 minutes, obviously there's been some progress made, or the flow rate's gone down a lot.
I think Shelly has a question.
Yes. It's also around the schedule that Walter just shared. So on weekends, so basically Saturday there's time trial and Sunday there's no. Basically on weekends there's no sessions for. That's the same for weekday evenings. Is that right?
Well, there probably will be a workout on Sunday mornings. We just haven't got it on that spreadsheet. This was a draft that was shared with board members to start the ball rolling, basically.
Mhm.
Right. Okay.
But
So
I'm
so there
trying to
might be
find it.
more sessions
Yeah,
being added. Okay.
Sunday is a traditional workout day for some groups.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
I see.
Shelly, those would be primarily the memberships sessions. So if you haven't done a Learn to Row before, we definitely suggest you do that first. Oh, she hopes she's coming back. Have you rowed before, Shelly?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
I joined the Edmonton Club in 2017, and then I've been busy with families, having rows for the last 3 years,
Oh,
and
cool.
I'm hoping to be able to make it out of the door on weekends, but it seems that now it's mostly weekdays evening being scheduled, and yeah.
Awesome. Well, we hope you come back. It's going to be an exciting year, I think. I'm quite excited. There's a little more pep in everyone's step, I think, too. Last year was hard. We weren't on the water, I think, until like end of June and then beginning of July. So yeah, we hope
And
you
all
come
those
back.
dock moves.
Yeah. Last year was hard all around.
But
Yeah.
we survived it.
Mhm. Yeah. Any other questions from anyone? Steph, I know you joined in late. We are recording this and we'll post it up to YouTube as well. So you can kind of see the rundown of the quick presentation we had and everything as well. Awesome.
I just have a quick question. Oh, sorry.
Go for it.
So since I've never done singles before, do you recommend I do a session of the Learn to Row and then transition to the membership?
Yeah, I would say so.
Good idea, yeah.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and the fees from your Learn to Row do go towards that membership. So by doing that, you're kind of just getting some more one-on-one coaching in a single before you go into more of a group setting.
Okay,
Mhm.
perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
And with the progress of the virus and the variants and all that, we're monitoring how we develop our season based on whether or not we can have crews. And most of the time, mostly it's going to be singles just for safety's sake. If more and more people get vaccinated and if numbers drop significantly, we'll be able to have crew boats go, but right now it's singles as far as I know.
Yeah, but if you can row a single, you can row a crew boat.
If you can
Much
row a
easier.
single, you can row anything.
Yes, that's what I tell myself every day.
Used to be a t-shirt that people, a friend of mine used to sell. It said, any boat, any seat, anytime.
Very good.
If you can row a single, you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions from anyone? If anyone does think of questions afterwards, feel free to shoot me an email at the club manager at edmontonrowing.ca. And check out the website too. There's a ton of great resources on there. I guess quickly too, before we go, we will just mention, so for members, we do have volunteer requirements and bingo requirements. This year, the number of bingos we're having members work is still to be determined. Bingo halls are, I think right now they're trying to get shut down again, if I'm correct. Yeah, so usually in a year, depending on what program you're in, you'll have to work 3 or 4 bingos. You do have the option to pay those out. Usually it's about $150 per bingo, or you can pay a member to work your bingos. All of that information as well is on the website. Volunteering, depending on the program, again, the number of hours will change. I think the competitive was about 30 hours of volunteer work, and that could be done through things like showing up and helping put the dock in, taking the dock out. If we're racing, we have to load trailers, so there's all that. If you weren't able to make those kind of events, you can always do things from home. Get in touch with me and we can find tasks for you to do. There's always lots of stuff that has to get done around the rowing club, and it's always fun picking people for their talents in our membership and the board and staff, and getting people to make our club an awesome place to be.